And I'm not like out here to be a moralist or anything, but I am not for like all this like sexualization of everything, you know.
Mastermind family, welcome back to the show. I am your host JoJo, and today's Artist Motivation, where we bring on the hottest, latest artists, to provide some motivation and inspiration so that you can go out and create amazing things. And we have a very, very special guest. He's actually very anonymous. His name is RandomGuy02. And before we get the show started, we're gonna sign off call for the day, right? Mastermind family in the building. And so today we're going to provide you some motivation. RandomGuy02, go ahead and tell yourself to the people and just a little bit about your story, man.
Hey guys, what's up? So my name is RandomGuy02, as previously stated. I am currently working on a little thing that I've had in my mind since I was probably 13, 14 years old. It's called Hamster's Call. It is a kind of an adventure, mystery / saga story that I'm working on. I'm still working on the first one, and I have an idea of where I'm going to take it for the second and third edition to it, but I have not actually went forward and published anything. I'm basically working on the artwork, and I'm trying to really get the character designs, trying to nail them down right now.
Okay, dope, man. Well, thanks for being on the show. And I guess, what is your aim with your work? Like, what are you trying to communicate with your work?
I'm really trying to communicate a world that has been devastated, and how humanity isn't always going to be there to stand alone by itself, and eventually there's going to be another creature, whether or not it comes in form of an alien or the form of an animal that gains intelligence. There's gonna be an animal that comes along that's gonna challenge us for that throne of being the only one that's smart and conscious.
Okay, awesome.
And I'm also trying to get across the point that just like there's a lesson with everybody. Every character, and every character has their own story. And Nexus is just the film.
Okay. Dope. And so I guess when you got started, like, what were some of the challenges that you faced, and how did you overcome those?
Never be afraid to draw art. Never be afraid to show what you want to draw. Because people out there, especially on places like Instagram, Tumblr, those kind of places, there's gonna be an asshole that comes along and is like, this sucks, and you just gotta deal with what they say and ignore it and keep chugging on. And you gotta wait for that constructive criticism, and you gotta base your future drawings off that constructive criticism.
I mean, and that's like, I guess that's the beautiful thing, man. Like, they feed fuel to the fire, man. I welcome criticism, man. That gets me more pumped, because it makes me sad that a person has taken the time to actually make a negative comment. I'm like, dang, man, your life must be like just bad. Unless it's just like constructive criticism, I welcome it. I welcome all forms of it. So that's awesome.
I see criticism that is not constructive as a challenge to my art, but I also want to prove it wrong.
Absolutely. So like,
and the fact is, yeah.
No. So I was saying, like, that's a good point. So would you say that you have a lot of haters that are like hating on your work?
Well, guess what? When I tried to promote my work, get out there before I got good at drawing on my Instagram, I got a lot of insults. That's no body proportion. And I just thought to myself that I'm just gonna make this better, and I made it better.
Okay. Oh man, so you didn't let the haters stop you from going after your dream, basically, right?
I don't care. This is my entire life. Why should I let some random freaking person on the internet destroy me?
That is awesome. No,
it's just some random, person. I don't care.
Excellent. Okay, so like what anime or manga has influenced your art or story or whatever? What has influenced it?
So what's really influenced my art is a couple different things.
Okay.
Surprisingly enough, creepypasta has actually inspired me a little bit, particularly the character of Kikikobi. And it didn't have anything to do with Kikikobi's existence, because I don't like the character. It had a lot to do with his design. I liked the idea of goggles being on his head, so I took that for Nexus. I looked at Goku, but I thought his hair looked cool, so I put that on Nexus's head, and he now has Goku hair.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so there's like a Nexus is kind of like a bunch of characters combined into one, almost.
That's awesome. No, that's great. That's great. It's always good to see like just different flavors of people who, what has inspired them or what has moved them and kind of like made their character the way it is. I mean, would you say that your character has a piece of your soul, so to speak?
I think that Butterscotch does.
Ah, why is that?
Oh, mostly because she is opportunistic. She doesn't necessarily think that being a blind hero is always good. She thinks to herself before she makes a move. She originally was actually a villain, but she didn't start off as a villain. She became a villain after Nexus came around. And I find myself to be similar, not in that I'm a bad person, in that I get influenced by people pretty easily, and that's kind of a naive thing about me.
Okay.
But Nexus is his presence in the story is powerful. Just being around him, you can like feel the evil coming out of this guy. Especially some of the more smarter hamsters, like your guy, for example, would tell you that.
Okay, that's pretty cool, dude. So like, I guess being that your Butterscotch is opportunistic and Nexus has come around, I guess what is that? Is there somebody like that in your life that you would say is like a Nexus for you?
I'm not going to go into detail, but I would say that there, yeah, obviously. But I have to say that there has been people in my life like that. Okay. Nexus really represents to me a person that isn't, it really wants power, but wants power and also wants to achieve other things on his way to get power. He's not like one of those villains that just comes in and is like, yo, what's up guys, I want some power, get out of my way. He doesn't just want that power, he doesn't just want to climb up to the top and get that power, he also wants to achieve his other goals on the way to the top. Which means killing animals and stuff like that.
Whoa, man, that's kind of dark, man. Killing animals?
Yeah. I'm not gonna get into it, but
I got you. I'm gonna save that for a Manga Monday review. Shoot, so that's cool, man.
It's pretty insane.
That's kind of, it reminds me of like, well, from an animal standpoint of like killing animals, that's like dark, like Berserk to me. Like it's just killing people. So
yeah, but he doesn't. The reason why like he doesn't feel sympathy for them is because he sees them as intelligent, and thus for knowing what they're doing. And that harkens back to another part of his backstory. The entire tribe gets murdered by this wolf called Xerxes. And he has not really a psychic, but his second in command is Helios. And they're hunting this thing called the Shadow Wolf, which is an entity that came into the Hamster Skull universe in order to destroy it, in order to corrupt it. The Shadow Wolf's goal is to make everything in the universe, is to basically eliminate all good from the universe. It wants to end with evil, and it wants to start with evil. And it doesn't care what it has to do in order to get that. And there's this character called Xerxes that also exists, who's the most powerful character. And I'm not talking about like, he's powerful, but he's powerful in his own way. No, I'm talking about like Goku level.
Oh man, Goku's like infinite, man. Like there's just no one who can beat him at this point, man. He just keeps leveling up, man. Like no exaggeration. But like what killed me was that when I saw Master Roshi do Ultra Instinct, I was like, wait a minute. You guys are losing me now. I said, I thought Goku was the only one. Now Master Roshi is. I said, you know what? You losing me. So, yeah, a really deep question, man. Like, what are the lessons in life you learned through, your journey, the hard way?
So probably be that you can take criticism, but you can't be annoyed by it. You gotta take that criticism and you gotta fuel your own creativity. So if someone says that your anatomy is wrong, you gotta make sure that they don't say that again by making your anatomy better than it could ever be. And you also gotta try to. One of the things that I tried to do is that I went back to my old drawings and I erased them, and then I drew over them a new drawing, and it made me feel so much better that I was getting so much better at drawing.
Man, that's good. Like, and you were able to like take something so practical as like, you know what? I hear what you're saying, but now I'm gonna do this over again, and I'm gonna continue to work on my craft so that you will never have a chance to say that again.
So they don't have a chance to insult you.
Exactly, I dig it.
And the fact is that I'm not a guy who goes around and insults other people. Like, I don't, just because I see like an artist that maybe isn't that good, I just say, yeah, it looks good, but you can do these things to improve. And I'm also not the kind of guy who goes around and doesn't do anything about it and sits around and just doesn't improve their art or anything else.
I got you. So like on average, like how many hours a day do you put into working your craft?
Well, I haven't timed it.
Okay.
But I would say that I post pictures a lot, and I would say fairly like maybe 2 hours a day. I try to work during the midday. Sometimes I do it at night, and I find myself being better at drawing sometimes at night, which is kind of weird. And I don't know if it's because like the darkness, or I feel more secure in my room, or when it's dark out. I don't know.
I mean, I think that's when your mind is most open and I guess allowing when it's like at night. That's when the creative juices start flowing for a lot of people, to be honest. That's when I usually go to work is at night while everybody's sleeping. I'm working. I'm letting the creative juices flow. So I think that's awesome that you're taking the time to do that for yourself.
Yeah, and another thing that's really inspired me is music. Particularly, I think that AMV's epic. It's like I need to make this.
Oh shoot, that's
yeah.
dope. That's dope.
And I hate to admit it, but Nightcore is another thing that I like.
That's good, man. So like, I guess, what are just some of your biggest like worries or fears that you don't want them to come true?
I think that some of my biggest worries and fears would probably be if Hamster's Call is going to actually set people on the right path of storytelling, and will really, if it's actually going to be something different, or if people are just going to say it's bland or whatever. I've gotten that criticism, which, to be honest, is a dumb criticism because it's not. But my biggest fear is really just people are just going to say, "Oh, that's stupid."
I guess, and how do you not let that fear get in the way? What do you do about that?
Well, what I try to do is I try to think to myself that I've worked so long on this, and they're saying it's stupid, right? Mm-hmm. So, is it me who's stupid, or is it them thinking that's stupid, not knowing how much I've worked on it and how much I put my soul into it? Like, is it me that's dumb, or is it really them for thinking that?
Well, it's them, man. It's always them. All the things that people are saying, that anything that's like kind of negative, that's not your voice, man. That's somebody else's voice.
And by the way, this is kind of off topic, but I do want to mention it. One of the things that I've taken notice of the anime and manga community, and I'm not like out here to be a moralist or anything, but I am not for like all this like sexualization of everything. You know? Okay, so I'm not for I'm not for like all this fan service. I understand people like this, right?
Right.
But whatever. Okay, but I'm not really for that. Like, I think that should be reserved for hentai.
Right, and you're absolutely correct, because I mean, like every anime or manga has that one character or couple that have that. I'm like,
I commented on a post on Instagram.
Really?
I was saying that, yeah, it was what's that brown hair girl's name that's kind of friends with Deku from the UA in My Hero Academia?
Oh, I can't remember her name. The short hair girl, though, right?
Short story short, someone made some weird image of her, and I was like, this is disgusting because she's underage. And people were trying to defend that image by saying that it's not real, and I was saying that it doesn't matter.
I mean, that's the same thing with people in this, how Bowsette. I'm like, you understand that is a dude, right? Like, that is still a dude at the end of the day, right? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to make sure I'm not confused, but whatever floats people's boats, man. So,
oh God.
No, I mean that's great that you're saying that. Like, I guess what made you actually come to that
common sense.
I dig it. Common sense is not common, right? Just want to be.
Yeah, it's not common nowadays, especially on the internet.
Ah, man, spoken like a true sage with wisdom. I respect it. Okay.
But, yeah.
So, okay, what's something that you wish someone had told you before you got started on your journey?
I wish someone told me that you need to believe and have conviction in yourself that you can be an American and you can make an anime. Like, this is a style that everybody can use. You can like anime and not have people think that you're weird or think that you're weak.
Right.
Or you can make an anime or something in an anime manga style without being called a weeaboo, or without someone coming up to you and saying that's not anime.
Hey.
I wish someone told me that.
Knock them upside the head. Like, what you say? You don't even know what you're talking about.
But a lot of people don't think that things from the United States that are an anime style are anime. And I'm like, well, sure, you can think that.
well, you know what most people do? They'll be like, oh, that's a cartoon. I'm like, man, you've lowered it to no, it's not just a cartoon. This is an anime that I've created. So
the difficult part of saying that it's a cartoon or it's animation is that anime itself has created its own style. So to come in there and say that it's an animation is not correct, because anime has become a linear style over time. Right. So if you're going to draw your characters, for instance, like if you're going to draw your characters in a certain way that's in an anime style, it's an anime,
right?
Or a manga, because that's a linear style. It's not just an animation.
But that's what people think, man, and it blows my mind that I'm like, you don't get it. So, and it's okay. Yeah. So that's crazy.
But the truth is that the first my experience with anime, my experience with anime itself, really started when I saw Death Note. Because when I saw Death Note, I had hope that people could make great, interesting stories that are anime.
Yeah.
Because Death Note was a great anime, and I don't remember as much as I should, because I watched it in 8th grade, but I still think that it was an incredible anime. Everything about it.
I would agree with you on that, man. I mean, there's only few in between that. And see, it's not even a long series. It's a very short and concise series, and that's what makes it great.
Yeah.
It's just, it reminds me when you have things that are coming out like that, like Samurai Champloo. Samurai Champloo was 26 episodes. And I thought it was going to continue going. I was like, man, they could have this go on a little bit further, but no, they left it as is, and that's what makes it great to me.
Yeah, and I saw this one anime. I I think it was a little time after I saw Death Note for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Wolves Rain. And it's kind of a more unknown anime. It came out sorry, what?
I said I haven't heard of it. What is it?
It's called Wolves Rain. And I believe it's spelled like rain, not like rain like a king, but rain like falling from the sky.
Okay.
And it's kind of a more unknown, smaller anime, and I thought it was very interesting. It's about all these wolves, and it's kind of like the end of the world, and they have to defeat this villainous bad guy who's trying to achieve something. My main issue with it is that what he's trying to achieve isn't really clear to me, at least, when I was watching it.
Okay.
But it was a good anime, and anybody watching this video, I would definitely recommend you check that out.
Dope.
Wolves Rain is a good anime.
Dope. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me, do you have a mentor? Do you seek advice when it comes to crafting your art, or do you just, it's all you? And why?
Unfortunately, I do have I do not have a mentor, per se, but I do have a conviction in myself, and I believe that I can tell myself that don't give up, keep going, never stop, and you'll achieve it. So I almost am kind of my own mentor.
Dope. Good.
Even when I'm exercising, working out, whatever, I always tell myself, just keep going. You've achieved this before. You can do it again. You are totally capable of this.
Yeah, and I keep seeing that same message throughout your stories, is that you have a strong self-talk with yourself. Like you do not let nobody's opinions or words space in your brain. Like it's only your self-talk.
I'm really trying to, on my stories in particular, if anybody ends up following me from this YouTube video, sorry, I'm putting down different quotes from my characters, just to give people a perspective of what they are like.
Oh. Well, like, what's a quote? Drop us a quote.
Okay, I'll drop you guys a quote. Let me just get it real quick.
Jeez, man, come on, man. You're supposed to have this like out the tip of your tongue, ready to roll it off.
Okay, here's the quote. Okay, so this is a quote from like Nexus.
Mm-hmm.
Leaning over this chair, this throne, looking down upon its glorious gold and silver lining, you know, I never had anything of this sort in my entire life. I never met a creature of your kind in my entire life. But I think this will be the last time we meet. And that just shows you that Nexus is like, I have what I got. But he's gonna like be like, I've never seen this in my life. I've never had anything like this in my life. I've never seen someone like you. But I don't really think that you're gonna last much longer.
Oh dang! Wow.
That's a quote that I have actually posted.
Now, why do you have that one?
I really hope that Nexus doesn't become like Thanos or something.
You never know what can happen, right? I mean, sure.
I wouldn't mind. I mean, it would make the character more popular, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, let the people decide what they want to do, right? So,
sure.
Okay, so like, tell the people what are some words of wisdom you would like to impart on the show for future artists or current artists that have, you know, gotten their work done but they're just kind of stuck. Like, what are some words of wisdom you would impart on the show?
So, I would say that you must always believe that you can improve yourself based on your own thoughts. If you have thoughts in your mind that tell you that you can't achieve anything, you won't achieve anything. You gotta have positive thoughts that are gonna keep you encouraged, keep you going, and you gotta not only ignore the people who give you a hard time, but also let that statement fuel you to make something better, so then they will leave you alone.
Dang. Deep. That is wisdom right there, man.
Yeah, that's what I've learned.
No, and I would agree with you, man. You gotta learn to be positive even through the times where it looks the darkest, and prove people wrong, man. You know, and just not even prove people wrong, just prove to yourself that you know you can do what you said you were going to do, and not, you know, fall to the wayside. So another thing I want to mention though is that make sure you never judge a person also. Because
I am very, 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 very annoyed by people who do give me a hard time. And when my sensors sometimes start going up, like I'm like, whoa, this person is obviously a douchebag. And they talk, the way they walk, I don't know. But just I try not to fall victim to that, and I try to just be like, what are the good aspects of this person?
Yeah.
You know?
You learn to find the good in all, despite what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's very good.
There always is a little piece of good in everybody.
Absolutely, man. Well, dang. Whew, you dropped some really, really strong nuggets on the show, man. That was awesome. We appreciate you taking the time to talk with our family and just sharing perspective on your journey and just providing motivation to us. And again, where can the people find more of your work and what you're working on?
Okay, so 2 things. If you want to find my YouTube, it is My Hero Academia videos. You will find 2 videos I have made so far.
Okay.
If you want to find my Instagram account, you can go to Project Hamster's Call, and it has underscores under each word.
Okay.
And that's just about it for my work.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No other handles? No Facebook or anything? You good?
Nope, not yet.
All right. Mastermind family, we appreciate you joining us on the show for Artist Motivation. Again, our special guest was RandomGuy02, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.